Hello, bit of a different style of video today, but
The Summer Games Fest just happened.
I missed a lot of announcements, and to make sure that you don't miss any announcements, I watched through every conference, and I'm going to let you know almost every game that came out, as well as my opinions on said announcements, trailers, all that stuff. So I'll go through all of the different ones, so PlayStation, PC, Xbox, then Nintendo. Some of them will have a lot more to talk about, and others I probably have nothing to do with, so I'll say what it was and then skip over it. Without further ado though, here's the PlayStation segment. The PlayStation State of Play started off with a Wolverine trailer. That one was very cool. I was very skeptical. Obviously it had been a while since we got that announced and hadn't seen anything. I was pretty on the fence because I didn't want Insomniac to be doing another Spider-Man situation where it's like an open world game, because how does that work with Wolverine? So they announced that it's not. Some of the stuff they showed was very cool. I loved the combat. I loved how brutal it was. It was very Wolverine. The linear style that they're going for, I think, works a lot better for the character. There's no Mary Jane style missions. We get to play the entire game as Wolverine, so that's pretty cool. And even the companions, I like the dynamic that they've done with Jean Grey being more of a character to be setting up attacks for Logan, whereas like Sabretooth is fighting tooth and nail to get more kills than him and everything. I think that's a really cool dynamic. Either way, given my skepticism, I think it looks good. I'm more looking forward to it than I was before. So yeah, hopefully we get to see some more cool stuff. They showed the Marvel Tokon, I think that's how you pronounce it, Fighting Souls. It's another Marvel fighting game. Do we need another one of those? Probably not. It's in more of like an anime style. That's the only thing that's fresh about it. I just don't think we need another Marvel fighting game. That's just my opinion. We got Rayman Legends Retold. Believe it's a remake of the original Rayman Legends. It looks pretty cool. I'm seeing a lot of stuff online complaining about the remake culture of gaming at the moment, where like everything, instead of just making a new game, they're just making the same stuff that we already had. Personally, I don't think it's terrible. Some of these games are definitely outdated. Do they need a remake? I don't think Rayman Legends needed a remake, but I wouldn't be out here comparing it to like the way that Disney does their remakes of like taking an animated one and then doing a live action, and it's just 10 times worse. I don't see a problem with this. Bancho the Chef, that looks really fun. Dave the Diver spin-off of probably, in my opinion, one of the best characters in the game. I know Dave the Diver cops a lot of shit about it, like the whole like indie vs AAA title and everything like that. I personally don't care about any of that. It's a very fun game. I liked it. I'm going to continue to like it, and this is something I wasn't expecting. A Bancho the Chef spin-off. It's pretty cool. I like a lot of his gameplay. I like a lot of the gameplay loop of Dave the Diver, so I'm hoping that they bring a similar level of playstyle to this game, and from the looks of it, it does look like that. So I'm looking forward to it. Looks fun. Kamuri, I think it's pronounced. A yokai hunting action game. The art style looks really cool. The 3-player co-op is something that I think has going for it. Feels very Night Rain-esque with kind of like a very vibrant style to it, so you know, maybe it'll be on my radar. I don't know. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis was shown. I think this looks cool. Personally, I liked the other Tomb Raider games, especially the reboot series of Tomb Raider Rise and Shadow. I think they were really good. This one just looks like that but with dinosaurs, so you know, I'm happy about that. I've got no complaints. Still looks like Lara Croft is probably winning the gold medal for long jumping. That'll always remain, I hope. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. It looks like it has some charm. The Lost Wild was shown. It looked like the intro was very like the Forest intro style, where it's like, you know, you got the dad and the daughter, and then like an accident happens and they get split off and all that. Dinosaurs and Annapurna. That's all I needed to see. It's probably going to be like a 6-hour game, story mode style, and I'm here for it. I think that looks good. Phantom Blade Zero looks pretty cool. The combat, I can't really pin it. I don't know what the game is about really, apart from there just being a crying baby whining while you're fighting a bunch of enemies. And if there's a crying baby throughout the entire game, you bet your sweet bippy I'm not fucking playing it. I'm not gonna do it. There's nothing worse than a crying baby disturbing you while you're trying to beat the shit out of some people. Dune Awakening was shown, and this is one that I do have opinions on. This doesn't look great, in my opinion. I'm a fan of the books. I'm a fan of the movies. I think the world that they've built up, at least like visually so far, looks really good. But this game feels like it lacks so much. The combat they showed off looks like it just lacks so much oomph. There's a couple moments where you see the player punching some enemies, and it feels like every hit I felt like he was just tickling the enemy. It just did nothing. It doesn't look that great. I think one of the redeeming factors is that it's co-op. That for me will always be a good thing. Yeah, it looks barren. If I'm gonna play a game like that, I'm probably just gonna play No Man's Sky. It looks like the exact same thing, but just stuck on a desert planet the entire time. Yeah, I don't know, it doesn't look that great, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the story's fantastic and it really gives you a reason to just trudge through the gameplay. Dynasty Warriors 3 Remaster. I've got nothing to say about this. I'm not an RTS guy. I don't know. I've got no opinions. I looked at this and I'm like, I'm never gonna play this, so, but it was announced. That's cool. No Rest for the Wicked, I think is already out, but was announced for PlayStation. That's cool. It's by the guys who made the Ori series, which is pretty cool. I like those games, but the style looks pretty different, kind of more like I wouldn't say isometric, but like a different style to those games. It looks alright. I don't know. Maybe it'll be something that's on my radar. I'm not sure. Onimusha Way of the Sword was shown off. This looks kind of cool. The more I watched the trailer, the more I was like, damn, I've got no idea what this series was before, but it looks enjoyable. The combat looked great. The story was intriguing, at least from what they showed. And they had motherfucking Radahn. Are you kidding me? That's all I needed to see. It might not be, it's obviously not Radahn, but it's Radahn. You can't convince me that that's not Radahn. Silent Hill Townfall was shown. There was nothing about this trailer that screamed Silent Hill until they showed the title card at the end. I wouldn't say it looked bad. It just didn't feel... It felt like a stray from the series a little bit. Even Silent Hill F had like enough going for it that it was its own thing. This just felt like, I don't know, I couldn't pin it in my head. It looks good. It looked very Still Wakes the Deep, if that makes sense. It had a cool aesthetic to it, but yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see what direction they take it. They showed off Ace Combat 8. Okay, hear me out. I haven't played any of the Ace Combat series. This looks fucking cool. I would give this a try. It looked very Top Gun Maverick on crack. The story looked semi-interesting. The gameplay, I don't know if what they showed off is exactly gameplay or more just cinematics, but it looked cool. It looks like the kind of shit that I'd want to get one of the gear sticks to like just be flying around and doing cool shit. It looked nice. I don't know if this is going to make me want to go back and play the others, because I probably won't. Either way, this one looks intriguing enough that I was like, damn, this looks cool. Stuntman Hollywood was shown. I don't know if the Stuntman series pre-exists. My editor will probably tell me if I'm wrong or whatever, but I'm the editor, by the way. Yeah, I think if it is a series, this is a cool take on the series. I feel like Stuntman doing a Hollywood style for anything like that looks like it should have been done already. I kind of zoned out halfway through the trailer because I was like, oh, I don't know, there's some driving game. And then the DeLorean showed up on the screen and I was like, wait, what the fuck? What's going on? What did I miss? It looks like a Flash game that I used to play back in like primary school on the computers while I wasn't listening in class. And I just kind of assumed that games like this had already been done before in like a very high budget style. It looks cool. I think there's a lot going for this. I'll probably look into it if it's not $10,000. Then there's Ill, like ILL. This game looks really cool. It has a very like Resident Evil aesthetic to it, with very creepy monsters, all that kind of stuff. Maybe a little bit of humor to it. Yeah, it looked really cool. They punched a little mutant baby. I don't know if that's relevant to any point I'm trying to make. I just thought it was interesting enough to mention. I don't know. I thought it was a cool trailer. Game that I will probably be keeping an eye on. Control Resident, we got another trailer for that. This is one that when the game was announced, the first little teaser was shown, I was really excited for. I never finished Control, but having watched these ones, I'm definitely going to go through, play Control, play Alan Wake, all those ones within that world to make sure I'm up to date and I know what's going on, because this game looks fucking sick. All the set pieces, the combat, everything, like the story looks cool. Everything about it looks really awesome. It looks like a really good direction for the series to go in. I know I saw Rogan talking about how he had played a little bit of the game already, and that he found that the voice actor, the main guy, was a little lackluster. Like, he just lacked nuance. But maybe that's intentional for like the small amount that he played, and that it builds into the character progression or something. I don't know. Either way, if that's the case, that's disappointing. Otherwise, the game looks like it more than makes up for those small issues, so I'm still excited to play it. Marathon got a quick look at its Season 2 expansion, Nightfall. I am still yet to play Marathon, but at least from what I'm seeing about the game, I gotta give this game a try. It looks so good. I can't believe I haven't touched it yet. I'm not huge into these kinds of games, but it just, like, everything that I hear, everyone says that it's awesome and it is such a good shooter game. So I will probably try it out, whether or not it's in Season 2. They're doing a free weekend with the release of Season 2, so maybe I'll give it a try then. But either way, looks pretty cool. There you go. Until Dawn 2 was shown. This looks pretty cool. I think it's a very nice direction for the story to go in. Obviously it's disconnected, set in the same world, but the idea of this film crew that fakes paranormal experiences, and that they've gone to this place where it's not fake, or that things start going wrong, that's pretty cool. I like that direction for a story to go in. The cast looks great. However, you cannot convince me that they've cast Neil Newborn in the game and that he's not the villain. In what world? The first thing I thought when I saw that trailer was, well, he's the villain. Are you kidding me? That man is just like textbook. He's so good. Don't get me wrong. Love him. But he is just the villain in like everything. Well, depending on how you view Astarion as well, I guess, villain or whatever, but still looks very good. The decision making looks very high stakes, which I think is good. But yeah, excited to see how that goes. Okay, the last one they showed off as well, God of War Laufey. This is one that I am going to stay a little bit indifferent on. It's not a matter of I think it looks good or it looks bad or anything. I'm holding my judgment until I play the game, or at least until it releases and I see more about the game. The combat looks tight. I think the combat looked fucking awesome from what they showed off. I am just hoping that whatever they do with the story doesn't affect what God of War 2018 had already built up. The emotion that's drawn from the intro of God of War 2018, I think, is so pivotal to the story that if we're given the story of like Kratos and Atreus have just let Faye go, and then she goes and she's just like fighting the Buddhist and the Egyptian gods and all that, and doing all this that's like, I don't know, I feel like in my mind her resting peacefully was what really put that moment into like an emotional light. Either way, doesn't matter. They could fucking cook with this game. I trust Santa Monica. I think what they've done with God of War and God of War Ragnarok was so good, so I trust them. But yeah, Jack Quaid is a big gel cube. That's pretty cool. I like Jack Quaid. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna hold my judgment about it until it comes out. I'm really hopeful that it does well, though. Don't get me wrong. I really want it to do well. Everything I'm seeing online of people bashing it because it's another game with a female protagonist, you're stupid. You're wrong. You're entitled to your opinion, but your opinion is just brain dead. Like, there's nothing wrong with another game with a female protagonist. Just because she's not being overly sexualized for your appeal doesn't mean that it's going to be a bad game. Grow up. And they had some games that added to PS Plus coming out. The RuneScape Dragon Wilds, not my RuneScape, moving on. And some for the Classics catalog. We had Guitar Man, Psyops, The Mindgate Conspiracy, and Onimusha, Dawn of Dreams. So there you go for anyone that's paying $300 a year for the Classics catalog. That's all that PlayStation showed. I think overall PlayStation did well. They gave us some looks at stuff that we had been highly anticipating. I think it's good. Did they have anything that was a standout? Not really. I think the Wolverine trailer was definitely the highlight, but yeah, overall, it was like a satisfying showcase. I think that's the best way of putting it. No Bloodborne 2, no Bloodborne remake, no Bloodborne port, so L PlayStation. Moving on. The next one we got was the PC Gaming Showcase. There was some very cool announcements here. This one's probably the longest of the list, so bear with me, but we're gonna get through it. This also isn't exactly in order. This is just I went back and backtracked as many of them as I could. So there's definitely some I missed, but I'll read out as many as I can. Straight off the bat, I'm gonna hit you with Ari Veronica. Yes, awesome, excited for this. Great to have Claire back, but oh man, this is one that I was a little bit. I was expecting if Resident Evil were gonna do another remake, that 5 would be next. I know that game is just flamed by the critics and players as well, just because of how racist it is. It is so racist. I played it for the first time like 3 months ago with a mate. Oh my god, what a terrible game. That needs a remaster purely because of how shit it is. But no, Resident Evil Veronica, or Code Veronica getting a remake as it is pretty cool. I think this is an exciting one. Am I playing it? Absolutely. I will play anything with Resident Evil posted on it, without a doubt. We got to look at 2 new Cuphead games. Well, we got to look at 1 new Cuphead game, which is the Mighty Adventures of Cuphead. I believe that's what it was called. That looks really cool, looks cute. And then they announced another game within the universe as well that is being developed, which I don't think it's going to be Cuphead specifically, but it's going to be something to do with maybe one of the bosses or something that we've come across, another character. I don't doubt that they're going to fucking cook, because they just do. That's the way they play. They ball. I will be right back. I need to take a shit. Like, badly. Oh, shit, sorry. I was doom scrolling. I apologize, like, you guys had to wait that entire time and I haven't just cut that out, but... Speaking of shitting myself, Alien Isolation 2 was shown. That game looks awesome. Obviously, there wasn't a whole lot shown just yet, but still, nonetheless, I'm so excited. I loathe going back to play Alien Isolation 1 just to, like, get back up to speed, so I'm not gonna do that because I just can't put myself through it again. But still, really excited for this. They showed a game called Gen Atlas. Looked like a game set in like a barren wasteland with a bunch of mechs. Almost like Shadow of the Colossus, but, you know, if it was replaced with mechs. I don't know, it looks kind of cool. We'll keep an eye on it. Showed Blood Message, which looked really cool. It looked like a very gritty, very grounded, like stealth survival game set in ancient China. I thought the trailer looked like it had a very interesting concept to it. The gameplay looked very visceral, which I think is a good thing. It wasn't pulling any punches, so yeah, looks kind of cool. Okay, Stranger Than Heaven. I'm just gonna get straight to the elephant in the room. Tupac? What? They've said that they haven't used AI and that it's all done through his estate, but why? Why? There's just something about it just doesn't sit right with me. I'm sure it'll be cool, don't get me wrong. The game looks very Tarantino-esque, but yeah, either way, I was just like, I was sitting there a little shocked when I saw that. I was like, what the fuck? Not sure how this one's pronounced. Haex, or just H-A-E-X as an acronym. I don't know. Either way, this trailer started off with this sound. That shit had to have been the brown note. I just immediately dropped my guts. Just on the spot, in my gaming chair. What the fuck? Seems very mind-bending. Very cool concept to it. I don't know what's going on, but it looked awesome. It looked kind of The Forest-y in a way, but yeah, either way, looked pretty cool. The trailer was very creepy, which I think is what they were going for, so keen to see more on this. They announced Dead by Daylight's birthday. They're turning 10, so they're doing a 10th anniversary with like a new character or something. I'm still not gonna fucking play it. They showed Mortal Shell 2. Trailer looked pretty cool. They had a bit where a character did like a badass guitar-based kill, like he just pulled a riff and then killed the shit out of a guy. That looked cool. I don't know. It's got not much more to say about that. Showed Sand Raiders of Sophie. I barely know it. It looked kind of like a Sea of Thieves meets Dune in a way. Yeah, taking Sea of Thieves and just replacing the entire ocean with sand. It looked pretty cool. Cool concept to it. Speaking of Sea of Thieves, we're gonna get to the Sea of Thieves announcement later. Black Flag looked really cool. I never made it through the original Black Flag. I got about 2 hours in, and I don't fuck with the Assassin's Creed movement and combat style. I know it's very good for the most part, and I know that I'll eventually get through playing it and I'll probably enjoy it once I get through, but this looks good. This, I think this will get me back into the series. I'll play this and then go back and play a lot of the others, but them doing a fucking badass version of Leave Her, Johnny, Leave Her. They knew what they were doing. That got me in. I'm hooked. Okay, I'm taking this one with a grain of salt, but The Last Ronin, they announced that it's in production with Platinum Games. I trust Platinum Games to cook. I think if anyone was going to pick it up, I think that's probably one of the better companies that could be doing it. However, just given how many times we've been hit with, oh my god, we're making a Last Ronin game, and then it just falls flat or gets cancelled or whatever, it's like, I don't trust it. I'm not going to get excited over this until I see gameplay. Once I see gameplay, I'm sold. You've got my credit card. We're in. Just until then, though, nah, sorry, I can't get excited about it. I just don't want to get false hope again. Gundam Rogue Orbit. This looks kind of cool. I was sitting there like, yeah, this looks awesome. Maybe it was just the music, though. The music did a lot to the trailer to make it very cool. But either way, I don't know. Looks awesome. I'll check it out. An extremely... what's it called? An extremely hard game. This looks cute. It looks like a little Untitled Goose Game style. It looks like it will just cause couples to fall apart or bring them closer together, depending on your cooperation and your communication. So they showed a trailer for Crossfire, which I believe is a single player version of the game that already exists by the same title of Crossfire. But hey, yes, Aussie characters. Fuck yeah. Up the rah. That's no. Guild Wars 3, an MMORPG. No, not my game. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Anyway, moving on. They showed a story trailer for Star Wars Galactic Racer. This game looks fun. Unironically, I know that like some of these spin-off games like Squadrons and all that stuff is like, it's whatever. I am so excited to get more lore on Ben Quaternaros. I will absolutely wait until this drops in price, because there's no way I'm paying like $90 for it, but still, I'm excited for this. End of Abyss looks like an isometric like Inside or Limbo style, if that makes sense, but I was reading something about it potentially being a Metroidvania? I don't know. There's like a lot of different buzzwords for this one that I can't quite pin, but either way, I don't know, it looks kind of cool. Last Harbor looks just like The Raft, but with zombies. Can't really see a difference. I don't know. It looks like if this has multiplayer, that'd be pretty cool. I think it may have shown multiplayer in the trailer, but I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to this one. Virtua Fighter Crossroads. I saw the first trailer. I think they did it at the Game Awards last year. This one, I think I kind of brushed off initially because I was like, oh, it's another fighter game. This trailer kind of looked good. As far as a fighter game goes, I don't know what the style of Virtua Fighter is, but I don't know, it looks kind of cool. At least the fact that it wasn't just a fighting game from what they were showing. There was like actual story-based mechanics and other environments to the game. That's kind of what's got me thinking, you know what, it might be worth checking out. But again, I think I'll wait and see once there's gameplay, and then I'll actually make my decision, because I'm not a fighter game guy, and if it is that, I'm probably not going to play it. 1666 Amsterdam. Looks interesting, confusing as fuck, but I was reading something about like there's 3 characters all set in different time periods, so one's in like the 1600s, one's in the 1900s, and then like late 1900s or something. Some guy who sees everything through the eyes of a cat. I don't know. Everything I was reading was like, what the fuck is this game about? Anyway, I don't know. I'll keep an eye on it. Saw Genesis, I feel like, is a movie franchise that didn't need a game. By all means, they might cook. But, like, tell me how this isn't just an R-rated glorified escape room. If you're... They have 2 options they can take. They can either do, like, the Spiral style adaptation where, like, you're investigating the Saw murders. I guess not Spiral, like, you could do just any of the Saw movies, really. The first one as well. But, yeah, you're investigating the Saw traps and all of that. I think that would be more interesting than you're just a character who keeps getting put through them or something like that. Or you're just, like, playing as different characters who are trying to escape the Saw traps. I don't know. Lords of the Fallen 2 looks cool. I'm not sure what to really make of it, though, so I'm not going to talk too much on it. Star Wars Zero Company. So it looks like it's set just after the Clone Wars era, or like essentially between episode 2 and 3. But yeah, I don't know. It looks interesting. For a turn-based RPG game, oh, I guess more of a strategy, sorry. For like a strategy game, it looks kind of cool. They put Anakin Skywalker in the end of the trailer. I don't know if they just did that to like run up hype for the game or whatever. I guarantee if you play the game, he's probably in about one segment of it for like a 5-minute block and that's it. So I feel like they probably just knew what they were doing by trying to get more people talking about it. It feels like it was one of those ones that just flew so under the radar. I didn't see anything about it online. It wasn't until I went searching and like watched some of the trailers that I saw it, and I was like, oh, there was another Star Wars game. The Blood of the Dawnwalker looks kind of cool. It's a dark fantasy ARPG. I think it's from a pre-existing IP, but don't quote me on that. Either way, it looked like an interesting premise. Okay, Among Us story on guard. Man, what the fuck are we doing? What the hell? The Monster Hunter Wilds expansion looks like what Tears of the Kingdom was to Breath of the Wild, of let's make the same game, but then expand on it by going up into the sky. I have a lot of friends that are into Monster Hunter, so that's exciting for them, I guess, but I don't know, I could never really get around it. Looks like they're probably doing well. Sword of Legends looked kind of interesting. I think it looks similar to Black Myth Wukong in a sense. I don't know if that's what they were going for. Just some of their combat style and the fact that it's like kind of came across like what they showed was just Dark Souls boss combat. It didn't grip me as much as something like Black Myth did initially when it was announced, so I don't know. Something to look out for, I guess. Hot Wheels Infinite Rush. This looks fun. It's good to see that there's just like kind of lighthearted games still coming out. I think it could have charm to it. It looks like they're not trying to do too much. It feels different to the Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels expansion. That felt like it was just, let's chuck Hot Wheel cars, but like not even Hot Wheel cars, just into these massive tracks and everything, or just doing like massive supercars in Hot Wheels tracks. This feels like it is so grounded in Hot Wheels, like even the environments had like toy aesthetic to it. So this looks fun. Do they need like another racing game? No, not really, but I don't know. It feels like something that should have already happened, so I'm not complaining about it. So Sonic's 35th anniversary happened, which they showed off very little. Like not even a new game or anything. It was just 3 new expansions to Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. They added Ninja Turtles, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Godzilla. So that was a little underwhelming, and then they also did a Piku Park spin, which I think was cute. That, I guess, is a new game, but like as far as Sonic's 35th anniversary goes, I probably was expecting more. I don't know what I expected really, but either way, yeah, that's all they showed. Attack on Titan 3. So apparently they're adapting the entirety of the manga and anime to a game from start to end, which I think if done well could be fucking huge. That could be awesome. Based on what I saw, am I expecting it to do well? Not really. I really like Attack on Titan, but this doesn't feel like it's gonna be good. They've tried incorporating more of like the ODM fluidity and all that, like the fast-paced action of it, but yeah, I don't know if I fuck with the art style as well. I know they tried to go with like similar to the later seasons in the anime, but yeah, either way, I'm not sure. I'll keep an eye on it though, because once again, I would love it to be good, but I don't think it will be. Clutch is like a story-based racing game set in like Monaco and the French Riviera. It looks kind of cool. It looks very similar to like the F1 story mode, Breaking Point, just in like the stakes of it and everything. Maybe even some story beats will probably be similar, because how much can you do with a racing story game? It feels like racing as a genre, if they're doing story, it works better in film, because otherwise it's like, it just comes across as, here's a problem that's going on, we're gonna fight our rivals by racing them. And then, good work, you beat him, and now we're going to the next location, and you're gonna have to race again, it's the only way. It just like, it worked for F1 because obviously it's in a league. There's a reason why you're racing every week in between the cutscenes and everything, but in like other games, I don't know. Maybe it's great though. I would love a cool racing story game, but yeah, either way. Chronicles Medieval looked kind of cool. It's just like big, large-scale battles, simulation style with strategy elements to it, I think. I think the main cool part of the trailer for me was just like a cool mix of Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. That's that's about it. I don't know. I'm not that kind of gamer, so it didn't really appeal to me. Palworld 1.0 was announced. That's kind of hype. I'm glad that they're still kicking, especially with some of the stuff that Nintendo showed. Their whole lawsuit feels pretty brain dead in comparison, but it's nice that Palworld is still able to thrive. It looks good. Happy for Palworld players. They announced Telltale's back, Wolf Among Us Remastered and Wolf Among Us 2. I think that's a great return to form for them. At least, like, as far as Telltale coming back, doing it off of Wolf Among Us feels so natural. That's one that whether or not I agree with them needing a remaster for the first, I don't know, because it's like, unless they're adding new stuff to it or new elements, it feels pretty polished. Wolf Among Us 2, though, I didn't have a long look at the story that they're going with, but either way, I think probably having avoided the story might have been a better thing for when I do go to play it, I won't know as much. So either way, a cool, unexpected one. Stellar Blade BloodRayne. This looks fucking cool. I started watching the trailer that morning when it came out, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna fuck with this or if I just swipe away immediately. I'm so glad I didn't. The combat, the traversal, like all of that looks so tight. I was speaking to a mate about it, and we were hoping that it's very, if you know the game Oni, that kind of style with like a lot of combat combos and choice with that stuff. So there's a lot to work with and a lot of fun to be had with the combat. It looks very cool. The story looks semi-interesting enough so that it favors the combat and the gameplay. So yeah, this is one that I'm definitely going to go back and play the first Stellar Blade just to be able to experience BloodRayne. I don't know if it connects, but still looks great. Okay, don't quote me on this one. Final Fantasy VII Revelations, I think, is a trilogy to the remakes of 7 or something like that, and it's the ending of that storyline. I don't fucking know. I don't know how Final Fantasy works. I never really played any of the games, so as far as how the remakes or the reboots or the revelations or the rebirths or anything like that, I don't know how the fuck that works. I don't know how they got to like 15 and are back at 7 or whatever. Don't quote me on any of that. I tried reading how it works, but I just couldn't figure it out. Overall, I think there's a lot of good PC games coming out in the next 2-3 years, at least from what they showed. I know that obviously there's going to be more, but there were some really good announcements here, some ones that I'm really excited for. So overall, I think a lot of the companies that are doing it for PC, they're cooking. We move on to Xbox. I've got a lot to say about Xbox. Just to preface as well, there was a thing that came out afterwards about them a little bit ashamed by the fact that they had to have like PlayStation and Switch and Steam and all that on their games. So a lot of them being announced and then having like coming out on PlayStation and Switch as well. I think that is a little bit of a drawback for them, especially with how full focused they were in the Summer Games Fest. They did a lot that was so like, Xbox is back and they're actually a competitor now, where they weren't 3 months ago. So that, I think, was the only drawback I had from them. Either way, some great announcements. Gears of War E-Day, they showed a lot on this game. I haven't played the other ones, but this looks awesome. I'm super keen to go back and play through the other Gears of War. I always planned on playing them, and I've seen a lot of gameplay from them, but Gears of War E-Day looks great. Especially it's a prequel, so I might even just play that first to get it chronologically, or I'll just go and play the others and then come back for this one. I think it is such a massive win for Xbox to make this a console exclusive. Fight me with that one if you want to. I'm mostly a PlayStation guy. I dabble PlayStation and Nintendo mostly, but Xbox doing this as a console exclusive, so good. To not even put it on PC straight away, that is so forward focused by Asher Sharma, because previously, before this point, why buy an Xbox? What's the point? There's nothing on there, no exclusives that aren't on other things now, no reason to buy that hardware over other things. So the fact that they're releasing very cool looking games as console exclusives gives you a reason to actually get one. So happy with this. Good work, Xbox. Fable as well. This one's not a console exclusive, but looked really cool. I was sold by the earlier looks we saw earlier this year. It looks great. I think the casting that they've gone for just across the board is awesome. Everything about this game is selling me. I don't need to be convinced. And it's also going to be on Steam and PlayStation, I believe. So this one will be a little bit more accessible, but looking forward to Fable. You know what's really fucking awesome is that I just spoke about every Xbox release and all of it's gone. I got through this whole list, all of that, all the releases, and then I went to go and check it right at the end because I was like, I won't start on the Switch stuff and just stop the recording. But yeah, it cut off right after like midway through me talking about Halo. So I'm just going to start again with Halo. Halo Campaign Evolved. I am a big fan of Halo CE, so I really like what they're doing here. I think that it's very vibrant. It's a bit of a loss for them to be releasing it on PlayStation and Steam and all that as well. Especially the fact that they tried to push for it to not be released on PlayStation. They tried to pull it before the announcement. Asher Sharma tried to push for that, but yeah, it was just they pushed back because it was too late at that point. Big loss for them, given that the trailer had that this was captured on a PlayStation. That is not a good look. Not a good position for Xbox to be in with that. Yeah, shame it is on PlayStation, as much as I am more of a PlayStation player, but either way, it looks good. It looks great and freaky as hell.
I know freaky.
Resonance Plague Tale Legacy looks interesting. It looks like a different direction for the series, at least from my knowledge of the other games. I think it looks good. Something to keep an eye on, I guess. The combat looks very interesting. The gameplay itself is intriguing enough that I'll keep an eye on it. Persona 4 Revival was shown, which I believe is a remaster or remake of Persona 4 Golden, if I'm not mistaken. This looks great. I haven't played any of the other Persona games, but I would be really keen to get into the series, and apparently Persona 4 Golden is a really good introduction for new players and all that. So that's something that I think I would get into. At least from everything I'm seeing, I would probably enjoy this game. So yeah, it looked really cool. State of Decay 3 looked very bland, in my opinion. It looks like Left 4 Dead in the gameplay style and everything. There's just nothing here that screams that it's different to anything else. It just feels like another zombie shooter game with nothing special to stand apart from the rest. So this is one where I'm a little bit confused. Unless there's something that I missed, it just doesn't look that special. Or like I'd play this over Left 4 Dead or, you know, COD Zombies or any other zombie shooter game. Sea of Thieves Custom Seas was shown. This is one that I think is great. I think it's a great direction for Sea of Thieves to go in. It feels kind of a similar move as to like when Minecraft opened up for like community run servers and all that online. Essentially what they've done is they're allowing players to make their own custom game modes, so like PvP style game modes and all that. Custom server hubs, community hubs, opening up like a creative mode so you can just fuck around and like put in a bunch of items and all that, however you want to do it. And then also the ability to use a cinematic camera. That's an interesting one because it feels very much like it is that old like Minecraft animation stuff that you're getting on YouTube. It feels like they're almost opening up for people to do like their own Sea of Thieves style like cinematics and all that, which is cute. I think it's a good direction for them to go in, and I like to see them improve because I don't know how much more they can do outside of just releasing new seasons nowadays, because that's essentially all they're doing with their updates, some new Tall Tales and all that. But either way, happy to see it. Metro 2039, take my fucking credit card. It looks so cool. Everything about this just screams awesome. Take my money. I've got nothing else I can say about it. I just, like, give me the game now. Bad Magpie looks cute. It looks like Untitled Goose Game, but with like a cute, like a hand-painted art style. I am looking forward to playing this game. It just looks like it's another game where you're just a bird terrorizing people, especially where I'm from in Australia. We get a lot of magpies and a lot of like swooping problems. So I think that that'll be really fun to just be a menace. Wolong 2 looks, it looks very Wukong-esque. But at the same time, there's nothing about these games that keep coming out. There's so many that come out of this style, and there's nothing special about this one. They can't all be good, which I think is the problem, because there's so, like, they keep making games of the same aesthetic, same combat style, same, even some story elements, exact same, and they don't feel special from each other. Like, I like Black Myth Wukong. I think that's special. I think that's something different. These ones, like Wo Long 2, I haven't played the first one, but this one just doesn't look that interesting. Doesn't look that good. But hey, what do I know? Join Us looks very fun. That one is like a multiplayer game where you create a cult with the boys. I think that's awesome. It looks like a halfway point between Cult of the Lamb and Rust, if that makes sense or that means anything. It just looks very charming. It doesn't look too serious or that it takes itself seriously, which I think is great. It could toe that line of like friend slop genre maybe, but either way, I'm definitely playing this with the boys. Senua looks awesome. I love the other games. This doesn't look like it's dropping the ball at all. It looks like it just continues to make the series better. I love everything that these guys do. I remember playing the first one and being absolutely blown away by that. I did it in one sitting. I had noise cancelling headphones on, and that was like, they just captured schizophrenia so well, to the point where like as soon as I took my headphones off, everything was quiet for once, and it was such a surreal experience. They don't drop the ball, so yeah, I'm looking forward to Senua. Fallout 76 Infestation. Come on. Are we still updating this game? I know it's probably a different department, but I would love full focus from Fallout to be Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas remasters. I know, once again, this is me just being a little complaining bitch, but I have no interest in 76. I have more interest in a Fallout Shelter update than I do a Fallout 76 update. And that really goes to say something. Doom the Dark Ages Revelations. This looks intriguing. I never finished Dark Ages. I got about 60% through the game, but this alone kind of gives me more of a reason to go back, I think. It looks like it looks more vibrant in a sense, if that makes sense. There's more color to it, is probably a better way of putting it. Because the whole game felt like it just had one color palette, and it was really gloomy. At least I know the other games had one color palette, but at least that was like just bright red. This one I just had a lot of issues with. So either way, I think the DLC looks good. There was a cool little moment where they showed off a little section that looked like it was from the old Doom game. I love that. But yeah, either way, I'll keep an eye on it. Crazy Taxi World Tour. I'm so glad that whimsical arcade games are back. Am I gonna play this game? Probably not. Am I glad that they made it? I don't know. I guess. It looks fun, which is the main thing. We don't have a lot of games coming out like this anymore. I'm sure there are some. Obviously, go fucking cry about it in the comments of, oh, this is like this game. Don't care. Don't care. You get the point I'm making, is the main thing. It looks lighthearted. I'm sure it's going to be for someone. Maybe I might even play it. I don't know. They took a break during the showcase to show off their 25th anniversary console. This looks so good. As a whole, I'm glad that they made the move back to like the green logo. I think that was such an Xbox W. For the console that they're releasing, I think it looks awesome. If money was expendable, in an ideal world, I would absolutely buy one of these, but I cannot afford it, unfortunately. But also one of the big things that I think is such a win from Xbox, Usher Sharma showing it off and then proceeding to say that everyone in the room gets a free one. It's such a small thing for them, I imagine. Such a small cost for them to hand out maybe like 100 of them for free. Console looks great. It's an Age of Empires 4 expansion. I'm not a huge RTS guy, so I don't have much to comment on this, but yeah, I'm sure this appeals to someone. Minecraft Dungeons 2. We need this. Was there enough of a player base for Minecraft Dungeons 1 to warrant a number 2? I didn't think so. I don't think I've ever spoken to someone who's enjoyed Minecraft Dungeons or even just played it. But hey, is the art style different? Sure, whatever. Does it look like a good game? No. If I want to play a game like that, I know it's like obviously has its multiplayer to it and everything. I'm just gonna play Hades. Game looks shit. Anyway, it's whatever. I'm not going to complain too much. I'm sure someone's going to like it. Magicians the Devil's Deal. This looks great. It's so refreshing to see a new IP that has such a unique concept to it. This trailer came across really well. The concept for the actual gameplay and everything looks awesome. Oddly enough, I noticed like hints of Arcane in some of the like character models and stuff, and then also hints of We Happy Few, if that makes sense. But either way, I think it looks great. I'm looking forward to probably playing this game when it comes out. Valor Mortis. was shown, and this had all the buzzwords that makes me feel all fuzzy and warm inside. Firstly, I know that there's a lot of first-person Souls-likes that have tried in the past, at least recently, and I don't know of too many of them that really hit the nail on the head, but this one looks awesome because it's a first-person Souls-like set in a twisted French Revolution around like the Napoleon era. That sounds so fucking cool. It just, everything about it looked awesome. I think the actual like setting of the game, so cool. The guy who VAs for Napoleon, I feel like is gonna cook. Yeah, I am excited for this game. I am probably definitely gonna play it if it looks good. If it looks as good as the trailer did anyway. Elder Scrolls Online, close enough. Welcome to the table, Elder Scrolls 6. It's just, I didn't know that we were still doing Elder Scrolls Online updates and all that. I think this is a interesting one. I don't know, I haven't really played too much Elder Scrolls Online, so maybe this is big day for fans of the series, but it didn't look that great. It looked kind of goofy, the trailer came across as. Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 got an update, which is all like US national parks themed. So there was a lot of scenery in that looked kind of beautiful and everything. It looks visually stunning. It doesn't seem like it's enough to warrant too many people hopping straight back into the game, especially because it's like, that probably appeals more to a US audience, more so than anything else if it was like a global, like, I don't know, like a Seven Wonders one. That Seven Wonders would have been fucking ass, but, because like most of them you just fly over immediately and that's it. But anyway, it's whatever. I think it's cool. I didn't know they were still updating this game, but yeah, anyway. There was a Where Winds Meet thingo. I think it might have been an expansion or a full game release on Xbox. I'm not entirely sure which one it was, but because I know the game's already out. But either way, or maybe it isn't already out. Anyway, I don't know. Doesn't really appeal to me too much. I don't really have too much of an opinion on Castlevania Belmont's Curse. It didn't really strike me as a game that had anything special going on. There was nothing there that was like, wow, this is doing something different. It was just there. Vivarium can have my money. That game looked so cute. It had like an old anime, kind of like Ghibli-esque style to it, which I think looks so beautiful. So I believe it's about a girl that like lives in a terrarium. I don't know much more than that, but either way, it looks like such a cute game. The story could be fucking anything, and I think I'd still play it. Persona 6 had a based teaser. Again, I haven't played any of the series, but I hope that this is cool because I saw a lot of people getting excited about it, and I am happy for them. I don't know how far away. I think they said like 2027 or something, but looking forward to seeing what comes of that. Spyro: A Realm Beyond. I didn't know we were still doing Spyro games. I thought that was kind of like shoved in the pit. It looked cute enough to warrant sales, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't really followed Spyro since the Skylander days, so it looks okay. Maybe not for me, but I'm sure someone will like it. Clockwork Revolution looked interesting. It looks like a first-person RPG style game set in a steampunk revolution. They showed off like a lot of the different characters and everything. I thought it looked interesting. It didn't like strike me as I'm gonna get this straight away, but I think I'll wait to see more on this game before making my judgment. But yeah, anyway, it looked interesting. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 looked pretty cool. I have no interest in the extraction game mode. I think extraction shooters are overdone and not great. There's some that are okay, but yeah, we didn't need another one, especially not another Call of Duty one. That being said, I think the multiplayer and the campaign look interesting. The campaign, from what they showed off, looks very like Ready or Not or like body cam style, which I thought was really cool. It looked very grounded. I would get the game if they put enough of the budget towards the campaign or the multiplayer. If they put more towards that than they did the extraction, I'll be interested enough to give it a go. Young Mazzino's one of the actors in the campaign, so I like that guy. He's a gamer. He's pretty cool, so that's a draw, I guess. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. Overall, I think Xbox kind of cooked. I think they had one of the strongest showcases across the board. They definitely have brought it back this year more so than they have in the last decade, I'd say. They had a couple things here and there, of course, like I talked about with the like PlayStation handover, but they give me so much reason to believe that they're back in this console war. The console war feels like it hasn't been existent in the last couple years, but like just they're doing so much more to actually give reason to buy their consoles. Given like PlayStation PlayStation is kind of dropping the ball a little bit recently. PS5 hasn't really had many exclusives to it, many to warrant it, and a lot of the games that are being announced from their third-party developers, like Naughty Dog, for example, they've kind of skipped the PS5 era. They haven't released anything exclusively for it, except for remaking The Last of Us 22 times. So that's something that I think they've dropped the ball. Xbox is clearly still fighting with the consoles they currently have before going towards their next gen and everything, and releasing exclusives that warrant buying a console. So I think that's good from them. I'm glad to see some of the announcements they did, and yeah, one of the strongest of the lot. Nintendo's was one that I was like, I know how this is going to go. I know that it's going to be a bunch of games that already exist or are on like different consoles and everything, and they're just making Switch 2 versions of it and then selling them for like $100 price tag, which I guess in American is like $70, somewhere between $60 to $70. I kind of expected a lot of that, which they did have a lot of it. And there's a couple things in there as well that really, they brought it back, but we'll get to it. Starting off, they had Rhythm Heaven Groove. Excited for this. I love the return. It looks really fun, really cute. It was one of those ones that when they announced it initially, I was like, damn, this is great. Looking forward to this. And then the trailer they showed the other day had a lot of variety to it. It felt like there was that many game modes that it's like, this won't just feel repetitive or like it was a throwaway or anything. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, oddly enough. Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm not sure if this was an expansion or they're just announcing it for the Switch 2, but either way, looks kind of whatever. Stellar Blade on Switch. Cool, I guess. It's awesome. I thought it was already on Switch, so... Orbitals looks really good. That one they announced a while back, I think at the Game Awards as well. Has like an old anime style to it. It's co-op, which is great. Yeah, the gameplay looks really fun. I think this is one that I'm definitely going to have on my radar, if not going to be playing when it comes out. Big Walk is one I am still excited for by the Untitled Goose Game devs. This one was announced a while ago, and I know it's such a big project for them because they are working with like open lobbies of however many, and it's like very expansive. I think it's just a shame that it is going to be coming out at such an odd point where friend slop games are such a diluted genre. They definitely would have been developing it just before the friend slop boom, but given that most friend slop games are ones that are probably made in less than a year, this is a shame that it's one that's kind of been caught up by that, and I'm sure it's gonna be great. It looks so cozy. It looks like the kind of one that I could just throw on and me and the boys would just chat at like 1 a.m. while just walking around in this world. I'm still looking forward to it. One Piece Grand Gourmet is a really interesting one for a One Piece game. It feels like a mobile game. It feels very much like the like SpongeBob Krabby Patty games where you're running your diner, but with like a little bit more charm to it maybe. It's just very unexpected for a One Piece game to be making it. Yeah, anyway. Pokemon Pokopia update. They're going underwater. Woo, yeah! Yeah, they did it. They figured out how to go underwater. Cool. Riveting stuff, Pokemon. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave looks interesting, but it feels just so stock standard Nintendo. If you showed me this trailer and asked me to figure out which company was making it, like I'd say Nintendo 9 times out of 10. It screams them, which I guess is a good thing because it's very unique to them. But yeah, it just like there's nothing really here that looks that interesting to me. Ninjala 2. I do not know what the hell is going on here. Your guess is as good as mine. JJK Vampire Survivors. I know it has a long ass name, but I ain't saying all that shit. So who came up with this idea? Because it is such an unhinged crossover. I know they're doing the Warhammer Vampire Survivors. I think that feels a little bit more natural. This one isn't just that though. It's a battle royale. You're either forced to play against other players or playing in single player against AI. That to me, I just like, if they were gonna do a JJK Vampire Survivors, they should have just done it in the normal format. To do it in like a battle royale style, what the fuck is going on here? Lords of the Fallen looks cool, I guess. Probably runs better on Steam, so yeah, I don't know. Liza P on Switch, I guess is kind of cool. Don't really see much of a reason. It's just another one that they're gonna charge a lot of money for a game that already exists everywhere else. But I guess it's good for people that only have a Switch accessible to them to have a great game like that more readily available. As a big fan of that game, I'm glad that it may end up in more people's hands. Devil May Cry 5. Man, I should play these games. I don't think DMC5 looks like all that fun combat-wise, but like, I need to play these other ones. I've been putting it off for way too long, so I'll play the other ones, and then if I like them enough, I'll probably be so hooked that I'll end up being forced to play number 5, so. Okay, Muramasa Revenant Blades. All that I wrote down for this one is that it's an action RPG that has a fuck-ass style. I don't know what that means, but I wrote that down while I was watching it, so I guess you'll see it here and maybe get what I mean, but anyway, I don't know. The Xenoblade Trilogy for the Switch 2, cool I guess. I'm pretty sure the trilogy was already on the Switch 1, but now they're just adding it to Switch 2 for like $100 price tag, so cool I guess. On the other hand though, right after that they announced Xenoblade Genesis. This actually looks quite good. Unironically, as someone who hasn't played the other games, I probably will play them eventually actually, but this game looks kind of intriguing. Might be one that I pick up and I play like on a plane or something because I'm stuck and I have to do something with my time. So I might as well play a game like that. You're about to get a little bit of a rant. Switch Sports Resort. It looks fun. It looks like it has some whimsy to it. Again, love that they're bringing back whimsy in games. Do we need this? They added what, like 5 or 6 more modes to it. Some of which are okay, sure. Archery, jet ski, all that's interesting. There was like 1 or 2 others there, but either way, these are the ones I have problems with. Thumb War. Why the fuck? And like, also, the fact that they focused on Thumb War so heavily to sell it to people, that they had this motherfucker playing it for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of their showcase was him playing this game and looking like he was jerking his fucking peanuts. What the hell is going on? It looks ass. Or, if you need a warm up for your other game modes, here's Jump Rope. Cool, man. Awesome. What an addition. They really needed that. Skateboarding as well. I don't really hate the skateboarding, but the fact that the one bit that they decided to show off of the skateboarding was someone going across grass, surely they could have shown off skateboarding better. Surely it's they've like made a good enough product that they could show it off in a better sense. But anyway, what do I know? I didn't make the game. I feel as though Wii Sports Resort, in comparison to Wii Sports, was such an improvement. They added so many game modes that all had multiple game modes within them. Adding like sword fighting and then having showdown, having the speed test and everything like that. They had 3 different game modes within this new sport. Then you've got basketball, you had the 3-point contest and the 3-on-3. That was all stuff that was like, they added so much to this game, and sure, not all of them hit. They improved upon the previous product so much. Switch Sports as a whole, most of the things except for volleyball and badminton were already things that existed in Wii Sport Resort, at least. All they've done now is add in sports that already existed plus Thumb War, skateboarding, and jump rope. That feels like such a step backwards, especially for a game that was already getting shit on just because the art style looked so ass. Hey, once again, I guess I'll have to see when it comes out, but yeah, this one just like actually kind of pissed me off in a way. Grown-ass man getting pissed off about a fucking Switch game. Cool. Hello Kitty Party Land. I apologize that those words just came out of my mouth. Star Fox. The gameplay actually looks quite fun. Every time they show off this game, it looks quite enjoyable. I think a demo is out at the moment that can be played. That doesn't take away from the actual art style of the game being fucking scary. It looks like this shot from, it was Fantastic Mr. Fox. Final Fantasy Resonance, I don't know. Looks okay. Looks good if you're into the series, I guess, but I'm sure someone will enjoy it as well. Pikuniku 2. Fuck-ass character games are back. This looks goofy. Once again, whimsy. Love to see it. It looks like it could be enjoyable. It looks like there's just a bunch of goofy shit going on, which is the main thing. That's a draw for me. Dragon Quest Monsters. By the way, Nintendo, the same company that went after Pal World because no one's allowed to do games like this except for Pokemon, or just them in general. This looks like Pal World without the guns. So is this them like punching back at Pal World for stealing their shit and then like trying to steal their shit? I don't know. Anyway, do with that what you will. Okay, the Duskbloods, fuck yeah, really cool, very short. I wish, like me and a mate were hoping so badly for them to show off the Duskbloods. Yes, they did. They showed off like 5 shots, which is disappointing, but at least it's something. I think in the next month or so, they said they've got a closed network test, which is promising. It shows that we are getting closer to release. I just want to see more about this game. I want to be given an answer as to whether or not it's gonna be good or not, because the more I wait, the less they show about it, the more I'm thinking that maybe they're just trying to hide the game so it doesn't lose hype immediately because of how it looks. I want this to be the equivalent of a Bloodborne 2. Please, I beg. Splatoon Raiders looks like it was just straight made from the same engine that they were running Donkey Kong Bonanza on, and then just changed the character models. But you know what? I can't really complain too much about that. I am not huge into Splatoon, but yeah, it looks pretty engaging for the most part for people who would be into the series. So they showed off some new Joy-Con colors. Cool, I guess. I still don't get the whole Joy-Con color appeal for Switch 2, given that like the actual inside bit gets covered by the console when it's in there, and then the other bit that's colored is just underneath the Joy-Con, which is such a small amount. So it is still just a black controller. If you've got the controllers in handheld mode, then all you get is two different colors on the little rings outside the Joy-Cons. That feels pretty silly. Maybe at some stage they make full colored Switch 2 controllers, but for now it's like they are doing the bare minimum and selling them for like $120 minimum. I think maybe 150 actually. It's crazy. Deltarune Part 5. Big day for runers. I don't know if that's what they call themselves, but yeah, I know that this one had been highly anticipated. From memory, it seems like they've come out with this very soon after when they said they were going to. So like it was like at least very soon after Part 4 in comparison. So I think this is a good one. I'm happy for people who are into Deltarune, and I probably will be playing at some stage. I don't know, I feel like I'm waiting for the whole game to release before I sit down and get through it. But yeah, either way, tell me if I'm wrong. Big day. Minecraft on Switch 2. Yeah! Minecraft! Whoa! What the fuck are we doing? What is going on? This is just ridiculous. Like, at a certain point, this game has been out for so long. Why are we announcing it for the Switch 2 in this sense, as if it's like such a massive thing that they've done? Cool, we're running it in 60 FPS. Dude, just play it on a PC. A laptop probably runs it the exact same. A MacBook. Metaphor ReFantazio on Switch, cool, I guess. Another one that's just like let's chuck it on Switch and charge for it again. The Kingdom Hearts trilogy on Switch 2 is cool, I guess. Another one that's just like they're taking a trilogy that already exists and chucking it on Switch 2, but like this is one that I probably will play at some stage, so having it accessible is cool, I guess. But yeah, anyway, it's whatever. And then they came fucking swinging out of the gates with Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't know if this was already announced, but that kind of came as a shock to me. It looks pretty fucking cool, but also looks kind of darker to the other games. Like it has a, I don't know, more sinister tone is the word I'm looking for, but it's, yeah, it looks like it has a much heavier theme to it. But either way, pretty cool. And then finally, they dropped the, oh, this is our last trailer for the day. The Kingdom of Hyrule. That was cool. I was like, yeah, okay. Legend of Zelda. This is nice. Is it just going to be another like Hyrule Warriors game or something like that? I don't know. I wasn't like entirely sold. And then they dropped this fucking sound. The forest. And I was like, oh my God. Oh, we're doing this, huh? We're really in it. We're so fucking back. I'm so excited for an Ocarina of Time remake. I feel like I'm not in the minority here. For people that aren't Nintendo people, sure, this looks like silly and everything, getting excited over it, but it's genuinely one of the greatest games of all time. And the fact that they're remaking it finally. I know you could just go back and play the other one. They have the ported version on the Switch if you're a Nintendo eShop subscriber or whatever it is. But man, I'm so hyped for it. I think this is awesome. I'm gonna be buying it on release, absolutely. Gaming is back. Nintendo, they really flopped their cock on the table with this one and really just made sure everyone knew about it. Some of the other games that they just quickly like brushed past that were going to be on Switch as well was Space Marine 2, DayZ, Metal Gear Solid 2, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and a bunch of other ones that they just said like, oh yeah, we're releasing these on Switch as well now, which cool to see more games being released on Switch as opposed to just like their Nintendo ones mainly. But yeah, either way, it's nothing new. But yeah, that was almost everything that was shown at the Summer Games Fest. Hopefully I covered most of it and I didn't miss any too many big ones. Let me know about it in the comments, but hopefully this style of video wasn't too bad. It's literally just me sitting on a couch in front of a camera, chatting, yapping for a while, which I feel like is what I like doing. I like just talking about games. If you've made it this far, you're probably going to listen to me talking for a little bit longer. So I really appreciate you sitting through this whole thing. And I appreciate the people that have been watching recently of just like the shorts and stuff. I think I've been very humbled by it. And I'm really glad to see at least some people responding to my videos of like, even just commenting in the shorts or commenting on the videos, like, you're doing well. I think it's really made my year. I really appreciate it, and I'm going to continue to do stuff like this. Let me know if you like this style of content, or you just want more gaming things, or even like if I should bring back the streams 2 times a week or anything. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will chat to you later. See ya.